and thank you for joining me for another episode of Throwback Thursday. So, Throwback Thursdays, those are my series of, excuse me, videos in which I pull out my retired stash and I create two projects using as much of the product that's included. So, for example, if it was a whole suite of product, I try to use what's in that suite, the paper, the embellishments, the stamps, the dies, maybe a punch. Um, in this particular bundle that I am using in this episode, there are some dies that die cut the stamped images, and then there are some more detailed dies that you can create kind of like a scene and stuff. So we're going to do a little bit of both and cover that. So for this particular episode, I am using the recently retired Friendly Fins. This bundle was in our past annual catalog that retired, oh, what was it like at the very end of April, very beginning of May. I did check the online store because again, this ended up on the last chance list, and this, excuse me, it's like every time I go to roll the camera, this is what happens. So I did check, and both items are now sold out, so it is gone. Both of these pieces to this bundle, each part was also discounted, so I was a little bit late to the party on getting this set, and I don't know why. I love anything that's kind of like nautical, and I especially love dolphins, so I was able to get it. So this is going to be kind of like the theme for this episode. I've also used a lot of other nautical themed product that's been retired that I did on my past few Thursdays as well. So let's see. Next Thursday actually will be a little bit um, out of the norm. It's not going to be nautical. Let me show you what it's going to be. It will be the Around It All bundle. So there is the stamp set with some of these big greetings on it. And then you have these Around It All dies, which are kind of like your wonky shaped circles. So this will be my next Thursday. Now I'm not 100% sure. I'll take a quick peek. I don't know if these are still available at all. Let me take a quick peek. Just bring up the website here. Um, okay, so it turns out that this still is available. It is listed under last chance. The bundle, the regular price of the bundle, so you save like the 10%. So the bundle price in here in the US for this is $49.50. Now they do have both of these pieces here. They're selling it, each part of it. So for example, the stamp set was regularly $21, and right now it's marked down to $14.70. And then the coordinating dies, these were originally $34 and are currently down to marked down to $23.80. So I make mention of this in the event that maybe you would want this. And it kind of leads up to something that is currently going on. It started yesterday, Wednesday, July 23rd, and this is going to go on until Friday, July 25th, and it'll end at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time. So kind of figure out, your time zone to Mountain Time. But Stampin' Up has free shipping for these 3 days only. So for orders of $75 or more, you will receive free shipping. Now, you'll still have tax if there's tax on where you live. But if you want expedited shipping, then you will be paying the expedited shipping. But if you just do a regular order, $75 or more, you will get, some savings there with the free shipping. Now, I will tell you that it seems like lately when I have placed orders, now I used to do the second day, expedited, so that way I would get it faster. So the way that would work is if you have submitted your order prior to 11 a.m. Mountain Time, there's a very, very good chance, it's almost like a guarantee that that order will go out that very same day. Now, if it's after the fact, then it would be 11 a.m. Mountain Time the next day. So usually, the order will ship within that particular day. And then it would take maybe about 4 days for me to get it, give or take. But I have found lately when I've just done a regular order, done the normal shipping, that they have been getting the product shipped fairly quickly. So that, I mean, it still takes like maybe about 4 business days for me to get it. But yeah, they are shipping out stuff a little bit quicker than they did before. So I wanted to bring this up because, again, this is Thursday that you are watching this video. If you're watching as soon as it's posted. And so, other than today, there's tomorrow, and then after tomorrow, then this promotion will be over. So, I did want to make mention of that. One other thing I do want to mention is that there are select states here in the United States that have the back to school tax holiday. So, Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Massachusetts, Missouri, New Mexico, Ohio, Puerto Rico, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, and West Virginia participate in this. And so, for here in Tennessee, our tax free, our back to school tax holiday is going to be this weekend, July 26th through the 28th. So the items that are on this list consist of like the adhesives, like the Stamp and Seal, the Seal Plus, the Stamp and Dimensionals, whether it's the regular size, the mini, the black dimensionals. Then there's like the foam adhesive strips and sheets and adhesive sheets, mini glue dots, the multi-purpose glue, grid paper, tear and tape adhesive, the fine tip glue pen. So the Stampin' Right markers, the in colors, both the set from last year and the new set that's come out this year. The neutrals, the brights, the subtles, and the regals, Stampin' Right marker packs. Those are part of this sale. Well, I don't know if I want to call it sale, but then you got the two assortments of the watercolor pencils. We have the black Stampin' Journaling pens, our blender pens, the Stampin' Blend combo pack. So those are our alcohol markers. The individual basic black Stampin' Right marker. And then there's a whole Stampin' Right marker collection. Now, when you look at this, you're going to see that there's some spots that are grayed out. So for that particular state, these are items that would not be part of the tax-free for that state. So some places, the whole entire catalog would be part of the tax-free. So Massachusetts and Ohio are the only two states that would fall under that. Let's see. Massachusetts, theirs is going to happen August 10th through the 11th. Ohio, yours is going to be from July 30th through August 8th. Let's see. Alabama, yours was the 19th through the 21st of July. Arkansas is August 3rd through the 4th. Florida, July 29th through August 11th. Massachusetts, August 10th through the 11th. Missouri, August 2nd to the 4th. New Mexico, August 2nd to the 6th. Ohio, again, July 30th through August 8th. Puerto Rico's had passed. That was July 12th through the 13th. South Carolina is August 2nd to the 4th. And again, Tennessee will be this weekend, July 26th through the 28th. Texas is August 9th through the 11th. Virginia is August 2nd to the 4th. And then West Virginia is August 2nd through the 5th. So there is a limit that they do have up here for these particular states. So here in Tennessee, it's $100 per item. So if you place an order during this tax holiday based on your state, these items here, if there's an X in this chart, then it's part of the tax-free. So if you place an order where, say, you have some designer series paper, maybe a couple of stamp sets, now those items, they'll be taxed. If you add any of these items to your order, then they'll be tax-free. As long as you see the little X, then it'll apply to all that. In New Mexico, it looks like that the stamp and write marker 10 packs would not apply, and that's the same for Virginia. And then the whole stamp and write marker collection, it looks like Alabama, Florida, Missouri, New Mexico. Then Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, and West Virginia, that would not be tax free for you guys. And then again, there were only two states that, yeah, that the whole entire catalog. So that would include the stamp sets and the paper and everything that's in it. But again, that's just those two states. It's not all of them. So again, you have the weekends or the dates in which this tax holiday will apply. So it basically goes from midnight to midnight. And then there could be either no limit, a $50 per item, 2,500 per item. That's in Massachusetts. But here in Tennessee, it's $100. So if you wanted to add to your order, say $100 worth of Stampin' Dimensionals, then what would that be? $425? Then that would be tax free. So this is coming up, like I said, for here in Tennessee. It's this weekend. I've been kind of holding it up so that way you can see the dates if any of these states apply to you. So I wanted to just bring up those two items before we get started because it's stuff that's currently going on. Okay, so we're going to get started so we can get these cards done. So I do want to give a little bit of a shout out when it comes to the inspiration of these cards. Let me bring up my list. Oops, that's not what I wanted. There we go. So my list kind of has like all my dimensions of all of my cardstock pieces and all that good stuff. But I do want to kind of give a shout out that this first card that we're making, this one it was designed by Denise Cox. I found it out on Pinterest. So I'm kind of doing her card, but I have changed it up just a little bit. So I just wanted to make mention of that. And then the second card that I'll be doing, that one is a case off of a card that Melissa Faust had done. Both are also Stampin' Up! Demonstrators. Okay, so for my card base on my first card. This is Smoky Slate. It measures 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4 1/4. For the inside, I have a piece of basic white that measures 5 1/4 by 4. Then I have a piece of this designer series paper. This is part of, we have our paper packs and all of the color collections. This is the neutrals, and this was what was in our last annual catalog. So this is now retired. I did look up to see if it was still available in the last chance list, and it is not. So any designer series paper, this color that I'm using is Night of Navy. So if you have like something with like like a dark blue or something in it, this piece measures 5.5 by 2 3/4. And then out of some scraps here, so out of basic white, I had die cut these 2 dies, and they come out of the Stylish Shapes. So it's the larger circle, and then it's this smaller banner piece right here. Now these are still available. They're either in the actual annual catalog, or they're in the online exclusives. One of the two, but they are still available. And then I had stamped my dolphin in Smoky Slate. And then there is a filler stamp. So in the stamp set, you have the stamps that do the outline of the critters, and then you have this solid one that kind of fills in the portion of of your images. So I'm going, since it's photopolymer, like I said, I did the outline in Smoky Slate, and I die cut it, and then I'm going to come in with the filler one and stamp off, and then I'll fill that in. Also from the Stylish Shapes dies, I die cut one of each of these circles. I have Coastal Cabana, Calypso Coral, and Peach Pie. There is this detailed coral piece. This is Calypso Coral. And then there's a die that does a little fish. So there's this one longer fish, and then there's these 2 little tiny fish. And there is a little bit of detail when you die cut, so you can see the wing and their gill. And then you can see the little fin right there on the little one. Okay, so let's get what we need here. So in the stamp set, I am going to pull out the Happy Birthday, make a splash, and then these fish right here. This is what we're going to stamp on the inside of our card. And then I'm going to get the filler piece to my dolphin. So we have that. Happy birthday. And make a splash. Oh, okay. And then we got the little fish. So we're going to use this not only on the inside, but also on these colored circles as well. All right, so I am going to take my card base here, and I'm going to fold and burnish that, and I'll set that aside. Okay, we'll put that right there. And then I'm going to bring in my my Stampin' Pierce mat. Since I'm using photopolymer stamps, I want to have a really nice stamped image. So since these are photopolymer, they're not like our red rubber where there's the foam on them. So I'm going to take my Stampin' Scrub here, and I'm going to wet it down with some of my Stampin' Mist. So that way I can clean my stamps when I need to. Now let me get some blocks here. So we got for a dolphin. Yeah, let's see, our happy birthday. And make a splash. And then we have our little fish here. This will work. Okay, so for my banner, I'm going to do happy birthday. And I am going to stamp that in Night of Navy. So let me find my Night of Navy ink pad. Okay, move that out of the way. Get our happy birthday. And I'll stamp that right in the middle. This is what I like about the photopolymer stamps. You can literally see where you're stamping. So there's our happy birthday. And then for our inside piece, we're going to take Make a Splash. We're going to ink that up in our Night of Navy. And I will stamp that right here. And then our angelfish, we will ink them up. We'll stamp a set over here. And then we can flip it over. And then we'll stamp them over here as well. So we got some detail for the inside of our card. So we'll set that aside. And we'll close up our Night of Navy. Let me bring in a piece of scrap paper for this next part. So let me clean off some of these stamps here. We're going to use these angelfish. And then there's one more stamp I have to pull out of the case. Forgot to pull that one out. Okay, and then there is this one that looks like it's just like some coral. I want that one as well. Get a block for that. Okay, so for my peach pie piece here, I'm going to bring in my peach pie ink. And I'm going to ink up these actually this one I'm inking up the coral, and I'm going to stamp this on my die cut a few times, and some got on the block and a little smudge. I'm going to fill these areas in like so. So there is our peach pie piece. And figure let me clean off my stamps as I go, so then that way I don't risk getting any ink on my card pieces. Okay, so then I'm going to bring in Calypso Coral, and I'm going to get that ink. That's not it. And then I'm going to ink up my angelfish here. And we're going to stamp these on here like so. Okay, so there's our angelfish. Let me clean this again. Starting to run out of room up here. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in Coastal Cabana. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp these fish again. And it doesn't matter that I kind of like flipped the stamp. I mean, I can just stamp it like I did before and just turn my die cut. It'll kind of fill in like so. Let's add right in that spot. So there's our Coastal Cabana one. Okay. Clean that. And then I'm going to bring in my Smoky Slate. And my dolphin. And I'll ink this up. And then I'll just line this up and stamp down. Now this isn't going to fill in the whole dolphin. It's just going to do that top part, so the belly is going to stay white. Okay, clean that really quick. I think we cleaned this right. I don't know, but we did again. Let's get that out of the way. We'll move all of this out of our way and close up the ink pad. All right, so now let's put our card together. So I'm going to take my inside piece here and I'll put that in. Okay. Got that. All right, and then we're going to take our designer series paper and I'm going to bring in some liquid glue for this because I want to line this up from top to bottom like so and kind of like in the middle. So if I use liquid glue, it'll give me, you know, that wiggle room to move it and adjust it. Whereas when I use the seal, it sticks pretty well. And if I don't get it lined up right, then I'll be peeling it off and it'll just, you know, kind of like bend up the designer series paper. Okay, so I'm going to take this and kind of come as close to the middle as possible. Make sure that I got it lined up. Okay, we'll press that down. Okay, and that fits in there perfectly. Okay, then I'm going to take my seal, and I can use my seal to put the rest of these pieces down. Okay, so I'm going to take my Calypso coral piece here, and I am going to place that right up here, and I'm not going to fully press down, not yet. When everything's kind of like in the place that I want it, then I will. Okay, and then this Coastal Cabana one, I will have them swimming in the other direction, like so. And then, let's see, we're going to take our basic white circle here, and let me get my scissors. And we'll use our edge pieces. The edge pieces are perfect for this part. Nothing goes to waste. Okay. Get that one? No, I didn't. All right, and then I'm going to take this and I want to make sure that I am in the view of the camera. So I'm going to place this right about here, like so. And then on my coral piece here, I'm going to add some of my dimensionals on either end. So I'll place this one right there. Let's see, do I have a bigger piece? I'll put that one right there. And then I'm going to take my seal and I'm going to add a little bit right up on the top part here. If I can get my seal to cooperate. Just want a little bit. Okay, take off these backings. Okay. And then we'll lay this right over. See, I got a little bit of seal poking through. Let's see, we'll put that up a little bit higher. Okay, and again, I'm not going to quite press it down yet. My dolphin, I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of him. Let's see. It should fit. Okay, and then we're going to place him up here and kind of tuck his tail fin back behind the coral. All right, and then I'm going to take my peach pie piece here, and let me move this one. Got one dimensional, so that way I can kind of cut these pieces up. Okay. Actually want to make sure that I kind of got this on the bottom. Hold on one second here. Kind of place that right there. And then let's make sure we got it the right way up. I'm going to add a little bit of seal there. And then I will place this, get my card in here straight, and put that right there. All right, and then my happy birthday, we will add some dimensionals onto this piece. These colors go together really, really well. I like how this is coming out. So let me make sure this is straight. So I put this on straight. Okay. And then let's see, my little fish. Let me get my little dimensionals here. And my take your pick tool, I find that it's a little bit easier to handle these little tiny dimensionals using that. And this just fits right here in the middle of my longer fish. And I think I needed to move this thing up a little bit. It's too low. Let's see if I can get it up. Hold on. Put that down for a second. Try and pull this up without ripping and damaging it. And of course it's really stuck to my finger. All right. Let me kind of move that up a little bit. Like so. Because we want to take our little fish here. I want to stick them right there. Okay, so then I will put my happy birthday right there. And let's get some dimensionals for our little fish here. These just fit. Okay, we'll add one up here and then one more. And this one will place him right in there like so. And now we'll press everything down. Okay, so there is that. So now I'm going to add a little bit of bling to this. So another item that was on the last chance list, and I did check to see if these were still available, and they're not. These are the neutrals adhesive back sequins. So there was brown, copper, gold, and silver in this. And since these silver ones kind of look kind of whitish as well, I'm going to use those. So I'm going to take one of my larger ones, we'll place that right there. And then two of our smaller ones, we'll place one there. And then we'll place another one right up there. So there is, let me move some of the stuff out of the way. So there is our first card. So a really cute birthday card. All right, so now let me bring in the stuff for our second card. And now again, this one was designed by Melissa Faust. It's kind of like a fun fold. I couldn't tell you what the name of it would be. It's quite interesting and really cool. So let me bring in all my little pieces here. Okay, so for my card base, this is Blueberry Bushel. So when I cut this, I cut it at 11 by 4 1/4, and then I had scored it at 5 1/2. Now, when I went to go and do this, I realized I needed to kind of take a chunk off of this and make this a little bit smaller. So another way that you can do this piece is you can cut a piece that's 7 3/4 by 4 1/4 and then score at 5 1/2. So this is going to be the back of our card, and then this is going to be the front flap to it. Now, out of the piece, the remainder of the piece that comes off of this after you cut, so it's going to measure 4 1/4 in width. So then this piece is 4 1/4 by 1 1/2. And then I have a piece of basic white. So this is going to fit on this top part here. So this basic white piece measures, yeah, what does this one measure? 4 1/8 by 2 1/8. And then out of that same pack of the Neutrals Designer Series paper, this is the basic gray pattern. This piece measures 4 by 2. So that is going to layer on that pieces like that, piece like that. And then the smaller piece of this Blueberry Bushel, that's 4 1/4 by 1 1/2. I have a piece of basic white. This measures, what the hell, that's not that one. It's 4 1/8 by 1 3/8. And then another piece of that designer series paper that measures 4 by 1 1/4. So these will be layered. Also, I have another piece of scrap basic white. I had used the decal rectangles set of dies. I die cut that out. These have since retired and are no longer available. Ahead of time, out of basic white, I had stamped my dolphin using Night of Navy ink, and then I stamped it off to do that filler part on them. For my, I'm guessing that this is a hammerhead shark. So he is stamped in basic gray, and then for the filler part, I stamped off in the same color. And then for my stingray, he was stamped in blueberry bushel and then stamped off to do the inside part of him. And then that little grouping of the angelfish, I stamped these in peach pie and then stamped off on the filler in peach pie as well. And then out of some scraps, look at this cute little lobster. Isn't he like really cute? So I die cut him out of Poppy Parade. And then there's a shell. I die cut that out of Basic Beige. There's like a little, like, I don't know if you want to, if it's a rock pile or if it could be coral or sand. This was die cut out of Crumb Cake. And then one of those little long fish, he was die cut in Flirty Flamingo. Then for the inside of this card, I have a piece of basic white. This measures 8 by 5 1/4, and then it was scored at 4. So I'm going to explain why we got this piece. So let me start by taking my card and starting to, fold, burnish, and kind of get this part assembled. So this is going to be the front of our card, okay? I'm going to take my designer series paper. I'm going to add some seal to this. And then I'm going to center it. And actually, I'm going to do this on my Stampin' Pierce mat so I can see it a little bit better. It's kind of hard when you're trying to do it on, white cardstock on white grid paper. Okay, so we're going to place that on there. And then we're going to take this piece and we're going to adhere it to the top flap of our card like so. Okay. And then on our smaller piece, add some seal to this and adhere this to the strip of basic white. Like so. Shift it over just a little bit. Now when I go to attach this is straight, right? I want to have it lined up, so if I flip this over, it'll match up as far as the stripes go in this piece up on the top. So I'm going to take this. Come on. Okay, and then I will attach it to this like so. So there's just that little bit of border of the blueberry bushel. Okay, and then on this piece of basic white that I die cut using the deckled rectangles, I'm going to add like 2 layers of my seal like right next to each other. So I don't want it to be all in the middle because this is going to be the part that is going to kind of connect our pieces. So to do this, let me bring in my trimmer really quick. I found that this made it a little bit easier as far as lining my pieces up. So let me move this stuff out of the way. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. So what I am going to do, I am going to move my my guard here. I'm going to move that. I'm going to take the base of my card. So here's the front. I want to make sure I'm putting it on the right side. So this piece is going to, I want that to be flush to the bottom, like so. So then we have this open panel right here. Then I'm going to take my, I'm going to hold that, and then I'm going to take my die cut here, and I am going to place that about here, and hopefully I got it straight. And, okay, I see that this thing is like trying to focus. Hopefully it wasn't doing that the whole time. Okay. So I think we're good there. Maybe do I have to move it down just a little bit? I have to move it down just a tiny bit. Okay, I want to make sure that that's straight. And make sure we got that kind of straight. Okay, and then we'll press that down. So again, you don't want any of the adhesive in the middle of it because you want to be able to open it up like so. All right, so let me get this out of the way. What's great about using this is that there is a lip right here on this side. So it's great where you can butt this right up against it, and that way you know that this piece is going to be aligned with the back of that card base. All right, so let me get this out of the way. Okay, then this piece here, this is actually going to be like the inside of our card. So I'm going to fold it just like I would my card base, and we'll burnish that. And then, so we want the card to open up this way. So on the back here, I'm going to add my seal, and we're going to adhere this to the inside of the card. And then I'll explain as to, okay, why I'm putting this in there. So let me get that in there first. Okay. And we'll line that up like so, and we'll press it down. Okay, so the reasoning for this inside card, so we're going to stamp like a little message right here. So if you were to give this card, you know, if you go to write in it or whatever, you don't want to be able to see all that writing, you know, in the event, you know, you write past where this piece is covering. So by adding this piece, I can stamp my greeting like right here. And then when you open up the card, you have this whole inside that you can write in, and you won't be able to see it when you got your card closed. Okay, so let me bring that Pierce mat back in. And I'm going to bring in the stamp that says, here's to you. Let's see, here's to you. And let's get a block. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp this in one of our new in colors called Timid Tiger. It's not as I would describe it kind of like a softer pumpkin pie. It's not as like bold and bright, if that's how I want to describe it. Okay, and then I am going to stamp the here's to you right here on this open spot to the right of that die cut. So now you can open it and then you see the here's to you on there, and then you can write your stuff on the inside. All right, so now let's get all of our pieces kind of like put on here now. So I'm going to start off with my hammerhead shark here. And I'm going to add some dimensionals. And again, I'm just, okay, that's hanging over. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see that. So let's shift that over a little bit. And then another piece right here. Okay. And then we're going to place him. Let's see, we don't want to cover up what we just stamped. So I am going to place him like so. And again, I'm not going to press anything down until after I get all my pieces on here, just so then that way if I have to shift anything around, then I won't, you know, I won't damage my paper by, you know, trying to remove it. Okay, so we got our stingray here. And he's going to go right here like so. And then my dolphin, we're using up all these edge bits here. So if you are watching this on Thursday, July 24th, I hope that you'll be able to join me tomorrow night, Friday the 25th. I will be live right here on this channel at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be featuring the Wildflower Birthday Suite. Now, with that suite, everything on it has carried over. There is an embellishment that is part of that suite, that it's the, oh, what is it called? It's the party dots. Now these are on the last chance list. I don't know if they're on low inventory or not. But yeah, if this is something, I think, was it Pretty in Pink, Pool Party, and then I think Peach Pie are the colors. If you like them, now would be a great chance to get them, especially when we got free shipping. So I wanted to make mention of that. That's what I'll be featuring. Hold on a second. It's getting a little warm in here, so hopefully the fan is on me and it doesn't interfere with the sound at all. But what I do is I create three. Fridays are where I use current product, and I'm going to use glue dots to attach these. And I create 3 projects using like that sweet bundle, stamp set, whatever it may be. And it's always going to be like current product. And then what I do at the end, those that are still with me that are in the chat, and I do have like a dedicated group of ladies that join me. A lot of times, I'm kind of tickled when I see that they got a whole chat going before I've even gone live yet. And so what I do is I have a Google spreadsheet that I link to it in the chat box. And at the end of my live, I take the names and I add it to a wheel of names, and then I do a drawing for the 3 cards that I made that night. So if you'd like to join us, I mean, we do have quite a few laughs on there, and yeah, so I do that every Friday. Now, sometimes if there's something else that's coming up, so I'm using glue dots basically to put all these pieces down. So I'm going to take my lobster and we'll put our lobster right there. And then let's see, we need dimensional for our fish. Yeah, so what else do I want to say about that? There's also like I create a PDF of the projects. Actually, I want to move him up a little bit. Try to do this without tearing it. Okay, I just wanted to move him up a little bit. And then put my fishies here. And then let's get a glue dot for Flirty Flamingo. Yeah, I also, like I said, I also do like free PDFs of the projects that I create that night. I have a PDF created for all of my lives, so I like everything, so we're going to just press that all down. So I have PDFs for all of my lives and my kinda lives. So if there's something that comes up and that Friday I won't be able to go live, I have a kind of like a kinda live, so it's pre-recorded, and I will post that at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, just the same time that I would typically go live. Okay, so I don't know why I put my glue dots back because we're not quite done yet. Okay, so for my embellishments on this, I'm going to use the Iridescent Pearls Basic Jewels. These are still available in our catalog. And I have a lot of these extra. There's like 2 sizes. You got a larger and then you got these smaller ones. And I have so many of the smaller ones, so I'm going to use these. So I'm going to add, okay, come on. I'll add 2 there. And then I'll add 1 right down there. Okay, and then the Baker's Twine 3 color pack. These are on the last chance, and these are, let me check really quick, because I think these were still available, and I don't think they were, let me see. Yeah, these, the package of this twine, you have Balmy Blue, Lemon Lolly, and Flirty Flamingo. This went with that whole hot air balloon suite that we had a couple years ago. So the regular price for this twine is $8, and it's currently marked down to $4.80. And then let me just make sure that I give you correct info about those party dots that I'm going to use as the embellishment. yeah, so I'm looking at this, and they are in the last chance. They are not marked down, and I don't see that they're on low inventory. So those party dots are still available if it's something that you want. And again, we got that free shipping uh, promotion going on up until Friday. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to create just a little bow. And you don't need it too big. Okay, and then I'll take a glue dot. Right, and we'll stick that right in there. And since our glue dot is bigger, I'm going to kind of wrap it on itself a little bit so not too much of that is poking through. And then I'm going to place that bow right there. And then let me get my actual snips that are for my ribbon. Now the snips, Stampin' Up! Had mentioned that their manufacturer that made the snips, now they've had these like forever, they were not making them anymore. So Stampin' Up! Had said that whatever stock that they had, once it was depleted, then the snips were gone. And it really didn't take long before they announced, from when they announced it, that they were gone. But they are looking into finding another manufacturer to make their snips, because I mean, it's a paper crafting company. You need to have scissors. So yeah, okay. So let me put that there. Let me kind of get some things out of the way because we're kind of got a mess going on. So there is our Fun Fold card. Again, I don't know what the name of this would be. Again, that the inspiration for this came from fellow demonstrator Melissa Faust. So we kind of have our flap that opens up like that. And then we have our extra little card that's on the inside where you can either stamp another greeting or you can write in it, and then you don't see it through your little window right here. So let me bring in, hold on. Let me bring in my first card. So here's the first card that we made. We used a lot of the dies in this one. So you can kind of see, you can combine like your stamped and die cut images along with those detailed pieces. And so I really like the color combination on this. So you've got the Smoky Slate, Night of Navy, Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana, and the Peach Pie. So this all kind of came together like really nice. And then again, here's that fun fold that we did. So you kind of have your flap with your little window there. You got your little greeting and you open it up, and then you can add some more sentiment in it. So, so thank you for stopping by and watching this episode of Throwback Thursday. If you like the video, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. It'll let you know when I upload another video and also when I go live. And it not only helps me in growing this channel, it also gets me out there to, where other crafters can get some inspiration. So it also helps in building my business as well. And every like, every comment, even a share, all of that helps out tremendously, and I truly appreciate it. So again, I will be back here on Friday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be featuring the Wildflower Birthday Suite of products. And yeah, and so wherever you may be, I know where I'm living here in Memphis that it's really, really hot. I mean, some really hot, dangerous weather. Um, just hoping we're going to get some rain at some point that'll help cool things down. So wherever you may be, stay cool, you know, if it's really hot where you're at. And if you're dealing with storms, please be safe. And I will see you in the next one. And don't forget, tomorrow, Friday, will be the last day for that free shipping. Okay? So I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.